Alright guys, so here is my review for the Kiwi Ears Cadenza. These IEMs retail for around $35 and they are currently my absolute favorite IEMs in the price range and actually hit well above the price range in my opinion. So I've already been using these for around like 3-4 months and I currently use them almost daily even. So I don't actually have the box anymore or the stock tips, so I'm going to be reviewing them based on the spin fit tips with just the cable and the IEMs. I cannot do an unboxing, sorry about that. But we're also going to be comparing them to some other IEMs in the price range, such as the cons here and the Blons. And then also a little bit above the price range with the Hexa. Reviews on these will be coming soon as well. For now, here is the Cadenza. Now, the Cadenza have a full resin shell, as you can see, with a little bit of like a sparkly finish on the inside. These scratches are from just use, if you can see those. And they are 2-pin IEMs, and they are very comfortable, at least in my ears. They have a very small form factor. Here is the con for comparison. Let me just get actually the same side. And so, as you can see, they're quite a bit smaller, which, you know, it really helps when this part does touch the top part of my ear, while here this will go into just fit in the lower part of my ear. And the cable is actually pretty nice in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like this cable. They think that it's cheap, but I personally think that it's pretty nice. It stays relatively straight and is pretty comfortable around my ears. The hooks, I actually prefer how tight they are around the ear. It helps with the weight distribution. And I think it's a pretty alright cable. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but for the price of $35 to get this cable is pretty good. But for these IEMs themselves and the sound, that's the important part here. Well, these IEMs, I'd say, have one of the best sound signatures in the price range. When we're talking detail, though, they're not the most detailed IEMs. If you're looking for the most detailed IEMs, you're going to have to look in a higher price range. But for the price, they have good detail and an excellent frequency response. They're not the highs are not harsh in any way, shape, or form. The bass is punchy. It's got texture, but it's a little bit overdone in my opinion. I think that the if anything, there's a bit too much bass, but not by a lot. It's definitely not like overwhelming. It doesn't bleed into the mids or the highs, but it's a bit too much. The mid range is, I think, that probably one of the best parts about the Cadenza, because it is pretty forward, but like not in your face, and very, very has a really good timbre. It sounds very natural. That's the main thing I like about these IEMs. They're very natural sounding. They're not analytic. They're not cold. They have a slight warmth to them, but they're not muddy. It's a very natural and very fun signature. Like the bass is thumping. The mids are clean. The highs are there, but they're not stabbing you. In comparison to some of these three IEMs here, in comparison to the con, for example, I find these to be a bit more balanced sound than the con, but that makes sense. Really, you're getting the con for that bass, and the con does have that bass, and it's definitely better in the bass department, but in the mids and the highs, in my opinion, that goes straight to the Cadenza. In tonal balance, also straight to the Cadenza. Full review on the con coming soon, though. Let's compare to the Blondes first. I think actually these have a pretty similar signature. The signature is better on the Cadenza. Sorry, that's my cat. The Cadenza have a pretty similar signature, but I'd say that it has a bit more refined signature, while the Blondes are a bit more muddy in comparison too, and a bit the bass does kind of bleed into the mids a little bit. But I did actually pick these up for $25, so they are cheaper if you can find it, and you can probably find them cheaper on Amazon. But I think that in general the signature is relatively similar, but I find these to be more energetic and the Blondes being a bit more relaxed. Going up to a higher price range, the Truthear Hexa, an IM I recently have started listening to and I think is absolutely fantastic for the price. They are a more analytical pair, I find, to be honestly. The soundstage is wider, and it's a little bit more analytical, a little bit colder, but it's still fun to listen to, still enjoyable. The cadenza is not going to give you a very analytical response. So for like doing like work related things, doing mixing, monitoring, I would not use these IMs for anything of that sort, to be honest. I think they're a little bit too energetic, they had a little bit too much color to the sound. But overall, I think that these are probably the best IMs you can get under maybe $70, maybe even higher. I think for me, if I were like choosing between the cadenza and the hexa, it comes down to just preference. And if I want like a more analytical signature, a little bit like a more sophisticated sound, or a little bit of a funner sound, and a little bit more, like trying to enjoy the music. And I think that the cadenza is a bit better at helping you enjoy the music necessarily, but that depends on your preference. If you like a warmer sound, I'd go for the cadenza. If you like a brighter sound signature with more treble extension, I go for the hexa. The hexa also does have a bit better separation. Actually, not a bit, quite a more better amount of separation, and has a bigger soundstage. The cadenza doesn't exactly have a small soundstage, but like let's say this is your head, it'll go here, and that's fine. It's got a wider soundstage to me than the Blonds, and around the same soundstage as the Cons. This is an absolute recommendation to me. These are the best IMs in my opinion in the price range and above the price range. Just overall fantastic job for Kiwi Ears. This is their second IM, I believe, and their third one is coming soon. And as soon as that drops, I'm gonna try to snag a pair, because these really impressed me. These got me into the IM hobby again, and this really shows that the market's moving fast, and it's moving in a great direction for consumers. So I hope this review helped out. Subscribe if you're wanting to see when these reviews come out and all that stuff like that. See ya.